Alright. This is Car Mechanic Simulator 21. I'm gonna play some of it because I am learning to be a mechanic and well, I'm going to a school to become a mechanic, so this is gonna be pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm going to a school to become a mechanic and wonder how realistic this is. Okay. Frequency, fuel pump, oil filter. Alright, let's get the car on the lift. It's nice, it's nice. I'm currently in expert mode because expertness. Something. It is something. I'd say for sure it's better than having to go back and get different sockets. I'm assuming these are the bad brake pads. Yes. There's one on the other side. I can definitely say for sure when working on a car, this is not how it works. Because you don't just click on an area and then start floating. Just have an out-of-body experience while you work on a vehicle. What else? Fuel pump, oil filter, and a carburetor. Carburetor's easy. Or filter, I think it was. Fuel. That is one dirty filter. Not that. Oil filter and all the wheels. I mean, like, at least with this, you don't have to deal with all the safety stuff. Even though it keeps people from getting hurt. Fuel pump. Wheel. This does look nice. It looks rather nice, actually. Wait, how do the drum brakes look? Oh, not that. There's definitely more to it. Like, if this is dual servo, there would be a self-adjuster, a star wheel down here, some springs holding it in, and tie downs where there would be a hole back there to put a return spring. Well, not a return spring. Return spring would be in there, in the wheel cylinder. So you would put these springs on that would just hold the shoes in place, which is pretty interesting. But yep, not that realistic, I would say. Let's get these separated. The tire machine, my worst enemy. Usually you would take it off the bead using that, and then, you know, use a little tire spoon, but there is no tire spoon on here, or anywhere really. Is that missing the piston? It looks like that model's missing the piston that would pull the arm in. Then you would use these controls to turn it, to clamp the wheel on or off. Some of these are a bit weird, because you would have turning, and then clamping the wheel on or off, and then you also have to manually adjust this. Wheel balancer seems normal, although some are automatic. I'm pretty sure that's the brake pedal to stop it if something goes wrong. No attachments for the wheel because you would slide it on and use cones to keep it secure. Of course, the protective cover, but no wheel weights that just go on the side of the rim. They're all the sticky ones. Interesting. I think it's not bad. Although this right here, this little thing that goes down, does not do all the work, that is for sure. Because you would do special techniques to get the bead off of the tire, and it's definitely not that quick. Now to get this, right, drain oil probably. Wow. Oil thing. Sadly, there's no like way to measure how much is in there, so you best hope that it's not almost full. Oh. Yes, you push a button and then that little bolt out there just disappears and then bam, oil change. Yeah, usually you would have it a bit higher up and then, well, for me at least, works. Put it back. Take the wheel. Boss. Actually, what does it say on the side? White Coast Public Schools? The main question is, why is there just a bunch of stuff everywhere? Can I get in the bus? No. Respect. Time to acquire parts. Alright, 2-barrel carb filter. Brake pads. There would usually be more to acquire here because, like, there's different types of brake pads, like semi-metallic and non-asbestos organic. But, you know, simplification, I guess. Four of those, one of those, one of those. Okay. Fuel pump. Carburetor. Well, not carburetor. Filter. Back. Tire shop. Why is tires? But it's spelled that. Might be spelled different in other countries. 215, 75, 15. So this would be 15, 75, and 215 for those. Let's get these on. With a wheel looking that bad, I'd probably just buy a new rim. And then, if you were to just replace the pads, you would usually want to replace the rotors as well. So you don't have to do the whole process of getting the pads worn into how the rotor's worn. Because of course there's going to be a groove from where the pad's sitting and all that. That's cool. Patron. Patron. Might need to have it lowered. Nope. Usually you would have to drop the tank for that, but okay. Alright, let's check out this wheel balancer. Oh. I can say for sure that's not how wheels are balanced, but that's one way of doing it. Apparently. That's so weird, I took the tire off. Usually you would run it, and then it would rotate the tire. Usually you would have it run, it would balance the tire, and then you would spin it around on some machines, at least the one I've been using. And it would tell you where the out of balance is, and your goal is to get the numbers as close to 0 as possible. But, you know. In this land, we just do this. That is, interesting. Quickest tire balance in the world, I gotta tell you. You should, like, hire me or something for, like, the balancing of tires. Now, what type of suspension is on here? Long short arm. Nice. Of course, you have a lower control arm right here, and a upper control arm right here. And that would make it long short arm, and the spring and shock absorber mix kind of just exists to help. Not a McPherson strut though, which would be essentially lower control arm, no upper control arm, and then this would be mounted in a couple of different places that would be doing the work of the upper control arm. Big brain stuff for cars. Wow, I don't have to torque these down or even do them in the right pattern. And also, you just gotta measure them down to like 5 ugga-duggas and it's good. Be sure to strip them off really well as well. I'd say for sure an improvement from the last couple of car mechanic games. Nice. Although I do miss the place that you could go to scrap a vehicle for money where you just take it all apart and sell the parts from it. That was pretty cool. I think it was in 15. I don't know about some other lifts, but I can say for sure that the rotary lifts that I use don't look this way. Don't have that much rust on them, but they would have an up button. They would have no down button, but a release lever, along with a safety lock release. So if you wanted to bring the car down, you have to lift the car up a bit, release that safety lock, and then push down on that lever to lower the vehicle and release the pressure. And they don't lower or raise that fast. Okay, that's everything. What else? Wait. Did I forget to buy the oil filter? Did I? I did, didn't I? Yeah, I did. It's missing. I wonder if they have There's one oil filters where it's like just the filter inside of a case. Those are pretty cool. Oh, there we go. I have no clue how much money you'd be making from replacing all 4 tires, replacing the front 2 brake pads, and an oil change. But I do wonder. Oh, come on. Because it's gonna give me like an amount of money, but I'm not sure what. Let's get that oil filled. Spoil motor oil synthetic. 4 liters, but where's the? Is it 5W? Like, how do we know what weight it is? 5W30, 4W20, like. I can say for sure, you usually just add more fluid to it, and you don't do that with the master cylinder because usually you would flush the brake system and or just bleed it while adding more new fluid, because it's usually what you're meant to do. Brake fluid. Wow. Oh, what does it say? Much control, such brake. I gotta buy that stuff. There we go. Let's see here. Oh, that battery ain't looking too good. Apparently, like, it just lowers the can or bottle down just to tell you, oh, it's full. Apparently, it's interesting. Usually you would check. What does this one say? No freeze, no smear, no dirt. Windscreen washer. Can we check the oil? Yes. And wow. Would you look at that? It's not quite correct on how it would look, but I mean, like, the dipstick's correct. You know, it'd be, you want it on that hash mark, which could do about another half quart or something or so before it's at the max. But usually it doesn't look this good on there. It's usually harder to tell. And those battery connectors are bad. It's not good anymore. Now let's see, we done it. Well, let's I don't know if I need to do this, but you know. Immersion. Wow, would you look at that? It needs washed. Why am I like the only mechanic on historic Route 66? I do full service, fluids, brakes, engine, transmission, and I work on snacks and Wi-Fi. So apparently I am also... Yep. That's interesting. Wow. Something. It's not bad. What can I work on? I mean, like... Yeah, sure. I got some of the DLCs, and that is nice. Put you on the lift. It's definitely an car. I don't think that's... I'm not sure what that would equate to in pounds, but... I'm hoping that it's not like really underpowered of a lift, given that's super rusty, it might need just replaced. Actually, it doesn't even have like the locks. The gears are not there, but the pins are. The pins are there, because there'd be, if it's raised up, these wouldn't turn to a gear mechanism where it would lock in place. And you would need to have it pushed down. Apparently that pin would, well, for the lifts I use, the pin would be right there. And when it's on the floor, you can move them, because that little pin here would be pushed up so it can move. But, you know, magic. Gotta love magic. Okay, brake caliper needs replaced. That's one. I have a feeling they're just gonna be like in the four corners. That wheel's looking a little rusty right there. Those brake pads are really, really good. Like, it's like they've never been used before, yet they're rusty. Huh. There's no issues with this one. Come on, put it on. Brake caliper cylinder. That's a piston, but also it's a floating. So this is a floating type caliper. So when this pushes in, it would push the caliper body back, which would clamp the outside and the inside pad on the rotor, right here. But there's no sliding pins. That's usually what holds it in. It's not just magically held in, because these are holding in the bracket. But then you would have like a pin that would go through and on in the bracket to hold this in place and allow it to slide. But magic, I guess. Ooh. Magic. Wow. It's a wheel. Not a bad game so far. I've definitely seen a lot worse. Although it's not the best, because there are a couple, well, at least one that are better. Wow. I guess that's what I should have done for my brake test, for replacing two of these in a short amount of time. Just going out into an out-of-body experience, take off the drum somehow with these not being secured in whatsoever, and just pull them off, disregarding all the springs and some of the other parts that are here, and yep, it'll be fine. Ooh, is that brake drum part? Okay, yeah, the brake drum's part of it. This would be the start pattern now. Bam, 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 bam. But we can disregard that here, apparently. Why? Okay, so the pads, the friction material or lining on the brake shoes is new, but it's covered in rust, which is a bit weird. And usually you can inspect parts without having to like take them out. Yeah. Okay, so I found probably the last two. 2 drums, a shoe, and a caliper. Oi. 2 drums, a shoe, and a caliper. Usually you would just buy a whole new caliper and piston setup. Like, you don't have to take the piston out when taking off the caliper. But when taking off the caliper, you have to take off a line. And then also be a bit hastily with your job, because the longer that line is exposed to air, the longer you're gonna have to bleed the system. And it's fun when you get the wheel cylinder off of the drum brake and then have to look for a part that went somewhere and roll it away. But oh no, it's the end of lab, so I must just leave it for the weekend and then do a ton of bleeding on Monday. Not enjoyable. But, you know, in this car mechanic universe, brake lines, fuel lines, and everything in between. Actually, let me. Okay. Ignition wires are a thing, though, and the belts, rigid belts, do not bend. But RDG belts. You are kind of, if you're checking the quality of a belt to make sure it's in good condition. Oh, I can just finish it here. Huh? Oh. Oh. It's fine. I mean, usually when you take off wheels, you just have the ability to put them right where, like, just lay them on the ground where you took them off of the car. But, you know, inventory system for some reason. 320, that's the bigger one. I wonder what the tire markings look like. Like, there's no size indicators, so that's nice. Only... what? I can't tell what that says on the bottom, but, you know, if these tires are old enough, you would just get rid of them, because apparently some people have had old tires in good condition, but they're just old enough that you would want to replace them, because they could get bad real quick. Alright, is that good? Yay. I have a whole $4,000. Look at me go. Building up a business. Wow. It was red, right? Let's see the one. Some is discovered, others not. Annual service time? There's things you service in between that time, though. Stuff will break within a year. You're gonna have to fix it, though. Tapping in the camshaft. That's not good. Tapping in the camshaft. That's usually a bad thing. I'm just gonna drain all the fluids here. Record. Well, if you want them replaced, I'll just do that last, of course, but drain them all. Ooh, I know. I'll just go over here and expose the brake system to a ton of air by removing all of the fluid somehow, when there would be fluid from the reservoir into the ABS here, which it's a 4-channel, which is good, but okay, tiny dual piston master cylinder would go into here, which I'm not sure where because the lines don't exist. Yeah, then you would have each channel have a line coming out that would go to a different wheel, like each corner for 4. If it was 3-channel, you would have both front and then 1 channel for the rear. And then I'm not sure if there's any smaller than 3-channel. If it would be 2-channel, I would have a feeling it would just be front and back, which would be interesting. Lift. Rise, my vehicle. Tensioner, brake pads, cam gear, camshaft, idle roller, and ignition coil. I want to find these not discovered parts. And I just start the teardown. That is not what a tensioner looks like whatsoever. That's just a pulley. Pump. Alternator, we haven't exactly gotten engines yet, and I really want to, because engines are cool. Man, it's fun not having— oh, wow. I can see why. That's what a tensioner looks like. Your normal tensioner, which you would, to release the tension, you would have to kind of use a tool and turn it with a lot of leverage. And that is usually not fun, depending on how tight the system is. That does not look good. Is that the water pump down here? Oh, it is. With the little fan bits. Man, I forgot what they're called. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to drain the oil, so I'm just gonna do it now. Oh! Yes. What? It's uneven numbers. A barn that I can't go to. That's nice. I'll keep it. Shopping list. Let's see here. I need that. Look at the job order. Belt tensioner, brake pads, cam gear. Cam gear, brake pads, belt tensioner. Was it an idle roller? Idle roller A, ignition coil. Idle roller, ignition coil. Equipment, coil A. Use. I feel like if you didn't change your engine oil for a year, it would look a lot more different and less liquidy. One of those. Sell that. Sell the tires. should be everything from this car. Okay. Spark plugs, serpentine belt. Serpentine. No, don't sell it. Need to keep it so I can list it. Oh, right, you can also walk away while using the lift, you know. Bluetooth lifts, like, come on, everyone has them. Right? Whoa, ECU that you probably can't take apart. Yeah, I can say for sure, when working on an engine, or at least working in an engine bay, the car does not become see-through. That's probably just some kind of glitch in the matrix or something. But it's probably fine. It happens to everyone, probably, you know? Everyone does it. Spark plugs. Gotta remove these little caps. Wow. Just look at that valve gear and stuff. Wow. What do the valves look? Huh? Oh. This. Does the fuel filter just have no lines whatsoever? It just kind of floats there, you know, like a normal one. All of them do it, really. Okay, let's see what this, oh. How has this engine not been serviced for a year and then just look clean? Like, oil breaks down, it would become sludgy and not good. Hold on, what is on my shopping list? Okay, good. Are these the rubber bushings that need gotten rid of? I feel like that one would be one. Yes. Four. Let's see this one. Shopping list. Not that one. Okay, I need to click. There we go. Are you in need of service? You look fine. Like, there's... Okay, yeah, there's no issue with you. Where's the other rubber bushings? Is it, like, on the back here? Now, this is an interesting suspension. I have not learned about that one yet. Well, this type. Do know about non-independent though, which this stuff's pretty satisfying. About that bushing. Bushings are interesting things. Of course, this is coming from someone who finds vehicles in general interesting. These. What is it missing? What am I missing? I mean, like, if it wasn't serviced for a while, it could be brake related. Oh yeah, it's brake related. For sure. At least this one is. Take that off just in case. Let's see here. brake disc, and 3 brake pads. What else? 2 more parts. Be sure to always, set your impact gun to max, and don't use a torque stick. That is the best way to have your customers very happy. Probably, I don't know. As you see, you'll probably strip out those things, and it's very useful and nice. 4 brake pads and 2 discs. Yeah. Right? Okay, yeah, full replacement. The disc brakes so far are not bad. Did they have the hardware on them? No. Wait. Either they do, and it's just really hard to notice, or there's no anti-rattle clips on them. Oh, right. I have a feeling they just didn't model the anti-rattle clips, because when vehicles don't have those, they like to make noise, because those brake pads don't sit perfectly in the caliper. Like, they're not seamless fitting flush. There's a little bit of a gap on each end here, and those anti-rattle clips kind of keep them from making a whole lot of noise and upsetting people. Right. Shopping list. 1 cam gear. 4 brake pads. Belt tensioner. Ignition. Oh, that's probably in some kind of electric area. Oil filter. Serpentine belt. Camshaft. 4 rubber bushings. And 2 ventilated brake discs. I don't understand why they didn't just put ventilated in the back, because it's far superior to solid. And the reasoning of it cools the brakes down better and leaves you with less chance of getting brake damage or pedal fade, brake fade in high braking circumstances. Wow. The thickness of the friction material didn't change. It just exists. It never wears down. Wow. This person needs like a wash or some kind of new paint or something. It's not looking good. Put that on. Pads. Usually, of course, if you're replacing your pads, you're replacing the rotor. But it's mainly because they're just replaced together to mitigate some things. But if the thickness is good enough, and it could probably sustain another set of new pads, you want to get the same type. Because these ones kind of look like semi-metallic, or not the non-asbestos organic, though. I know there was another one, though. I don't think they would really care that there's different types. But yeah, that's something you want to look out for. But also when buying organic brake pads, don't always make sure they don't have asbestos in them. They shouldn't be produced with that anymore, but they used to. I mean, like, if you want cancer, that's a pretty good thing to buy, but I would assume that you wouldn't want cancer. And if you have cancer, that's not a good thing, I would say. Oh, I almost got this car back together. And apparently you don't have to check for an extra seal. Because sometimes when replacing oil filters, there's this thing that seals it to the engine. And sometimes it would just stick to where the engine goes, where the filter would be in. And the new ones, the new oil filter, will come with a seal. So you don't reuse that old gasket seal. And apparently it's just not a thing you do in this game for some reason, where you make sure you're not gonna dump oil everywhere by putting 2 seals on. Probably should have put a disclaimer in the beginning about how some information may be incorrect at some point. 'Cause, you know, I'm a human, not perfect. Plus, I'm still learning the subject. Constructive criticism on that's not what I wanted in there, but constructive criticism on stuff I got wrong would be nice. Yeah, that'd be helpful. Don't want to be incorrect. Wait, did I buy 3 new spark plugs? It's probably fine. There we go, get those in. One spark plug is incorrect. You gotta be kidding me. Just gonna swap these 2. I hate how it's like not gonna tell you which ones are correct. And let's see. Okay. Should be good now. Make sure. Ignition coil. Okay, good. Of course, since I am in an out-of-body experience, I'd be definitely getting this done quicker than they would usually have it be done. If this was even a routine kind of service, like replacing a water pump or a thermostat. Because if you do a job quick, and before the, like, let's say you're doing a water pump and it's time and a half on a vehicle, where you'd get paid and time and a half, like an hour and a half, for... Did I not buy a new one? Where you would be paid like $75, let's say, for doing that job. And, well, and you would only get paid $75 for that job. If you do it slower, you're still getting paid $75, but in a slower amount of time. And the goal, of course, is to do it... Oh, did I put that on without putting the bearing on? Yeah. And you have to, of course, do it as quick as you can while being correct and torquing things down. Because if you can do it quickly, you get paid that 75, but, you know, instead of an hour and a half, you get it paid in an hour. Which is, like, a lot better than doing it in 2 hours and only getting paid 75 for it. Of course, it's a terrible analogy that isn't really that good, but something. That's the one that requires the new bearing. Well, pulley. Why are they called rollers? Like, belt tensioner is correct, but idle roller? They're not even for idling, they're just there to help route the belt around where it needs to go, like, of course. Doesn't make so much sense. And that is something. Yeah, that should be correct. Idle roller. Anyway. I'll just take this off and buy another one, because I am totally not a little tight on cash right. Well, it's only 20 bucks. You know, that's fine, only $20. Huh? Is it the other one? Watch as someone learning to be a mechanic is getting absolutely confused. Why does it not, like, I can't mark parts or mark locations saying that is what needs to be replaced? So, like, how am I supposed to correctly replace this one? I'm pretty sure it's not. Which, the belts are, you would usually use a chain for the timing. You know, a timing chain. And that belt would not work well on that water pump. Whatsoever. That's not what a water pump pulley should look like. It should be like any other normal pulley. It should be smooth. It would just kind of look like this one right here, where you would have these notches for where the belt would go in and seat. It's confusing me. Alrighty. Right, fluid change. Take your motor brake fluid. It's DOT 3 and 4. But you can only have... Well, you can't mix DOT 5, of course, because it doesn't have silicone. But is it saying it mixes with DOT 3 and 4? Or is it saying that it is DOT 3 and 4? Because you can only have DOT 3 or DOT 4, but you can mix them together and use them interchangeably. DOT 5, though, is different, of course, because it doesn't have silicone, and it wouldn't mix. Should it be done? Right, oil. SAE AWGL. What is AWGL? That is not... I've never seen anything kind of related to that on that kind of stuff. Yeah, sure. That would help. those are pretty useful. Alright, yeah, that's probably gonna be it for now. You know, nice look, doing a couple jobs. Tomorrow well, next time, something like that, I'll be doing other vehicles and seeing how it goes. Yeah. So, yeah, have a good day. Goodbye. Something like that.